Everybody to the NCAA Next Up Dynasty here on NCAA Football 14. Today we will be going through the semifinal games along with the national championship here for Season 3 of the College Football Playoff. If you missed the last episode in which we went over the 4 quarterfinal games, make sure to check out the series playlist where you can find any episodes of the series that you may have missed. This is what our bracket looks like going into the Final Four. We've got top-seeded Florida against the lowest seed in the entire tournament, Oklahoma, and then the two middle seeds, number 7, Georgia, and number 6, Ohio State. We're going to get right into it, and we're going to kick off here with the 7th-seeded Georgia Bulldogs facing off against number 6, the Ohio State University, for a spot in the national championship game on the line. We'll start with the Georgia Bulldogs, the number 7 overall seed here in the playoff. Georgia won the national championship 2 seasons ago, back in year number 1. Last year, they barely missed out on that large spot, being the first team to miss the cut. They got back this year, and boy, do they look hungry. They beat Oregon in the first round at home. They handled number 2 Cal at the Fiesta Bowl in the previous game. And here they are into the Final Four, looking for their second championship of the series. This Georgia team is battle-tested. They are tough. They beat Oklahoma, who is in the other semifinal game, but they also lost to Florida. So if Georgia does win this game, they will have a rematch with either Florida or Oklahoma. Aram Kachakan, the senior quarterback, has been fantastic this year. Freshman running back Miko Alexander has really asserted himself these past 2 playoff games, and they've got some great receivers led by Monty Grant, the junior. And defensively, they've got a lot of their same guys from the team in Season 1 that obviously won the entire thing. Then we have the number 6 seeded, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State was my preseason pick for the national championship, and since then, Ohio State has continued to prove me right, and they've got one more opportunity to do it in today's episode. Ohio State fielded a very similar team that they did last year. A season ago, Ohio State had the number 2 seed. They were upset by Florida in the quarterfinals, but they are back and even better this season. Ohio State went 11-2. They lost to Virginia at home in overtime, and obviously they had that embarrassing loss in the Big Ten championship game against USC. They were able to get revenge on the Trojans in the last episode by beating them pretty handedly in the Rose Bowl, and prior to that, Ohio State handled Baylor in the first round at home. The Buckeyes are led by sophomore quarterback Puma Whitlock, who finished in second place for our Heisman Trophy voting. He's arguably the best pure quarterback prospect in the country, and along with that, they're led by other great players on offense like Mookie Davis, Auden Green, Matthew Mountbatten. Kermit Welch has performed very well so far in the playoff, and defensively they're very strong too, with a lot of the same guys that they had from last season's team, who obviously got upset by Florida in the quarterfinals. So we'll see what can happen here. We've got 3 SEC teams left along with Ohio State. Can the Buckeyes outduel the SEC, or can Georgia head back to the national championship for a second time in the last 3 seasons of this series? And obviously the winner will face off against either Florida or Oklahoma later in today's episode. All 3 games will be played here at the Orange Bowl at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida, home of the Miami Dolphins and home of the 2025 College Football Playoff finale. Ohio State opens up with the ball, 3rd and 2. Mookie Davis gets nothing. Wrapped up on the play by Jeremy Brown, the senior captain at middle linebacker. So Georgia has it now. Here's the true freshman, Miko Alexander, with a nice run of 12. Alexander was inconsistent in the regular season, but here in the playoff against Oregon and Cal, he's been really impressive as he gets it back here on first down, but he loses 5. The Ohio State run defense reads the play like a book, and it's the corner, Kenya Catch, who brings him down. 3rd and long, Kachakan dancing around in the pocket, and he is lit up. James Butler with the sack, and that'll force a punt. A quick start defensively for both sides, coming off an episode last time around that was dominated by defense. Puma Whitlock takes a shot downfield on 3rd down and is underthrown, broken up by the linebacker Duke Hawkins. So it's been a struggle for these offenses so far. Nobody's moving the ball well down the field, but at least Georgia's getting some nice runs across. Aaron Ketchikan, the senior quarterback, with a nice gain. Ketchikan's draft stock has skyrocketed throughout the season, and if he plays well today, he could cement himself as a first-round draft pick come April. Georgia's moving it well. They've got it now inside the 35 on first down. Ketchikan with a strike, and it is caught for a touchdown. Atlanta Johnson, the freshman, comes down with it, and the Georgia Bulldogs start this one on the board as they lead 7-0. Time for the Buckeyes to respond. Their offense has not done much of anything so far today as Whitlock connects on the wheel route with Kermit Wiltz, the slot receiver, who has played very well in Ohio State's first two playoff games against Baylor and USC. Handoff up the middle, a nice run for the junior, Mookie Davis, arguably the best running back in college football, certainly one of. Following play, back to Davis with a nice block, and he is in for a touchdown. The Ohio State University ties it at 7. So Georgia scores, and the Buckeyes answer back. It looks like we might have ourselves a good ball game. Ketchikan gets nothing. He lost a yard. Did a good job of breaking the initial tackle, but Kenya Catch is able to bring him down. 3rd and long, Ketchikan under pressure, takes a shot downfield, and it is broken up in the secondary by Brian Thibodeau. So that'll force a punt, and the Buckeyes get it back on first down. Mookie Davis loses 3. Quickly wrapped up by Grant Rambo, the senior linebacker. Into the second quarter now, 3rd and 9. Puma Whitlock with time in the pocket, rolls out to the right, and he is sacked. Ball's loose, and it's picked up by the defense. Tykeem Rogers, the big fella, takes it the distance for a scoop and score, and Georgia takes the lead. Duke Dawkins, the linebacker, was the one who ripped the ball away from Puma Whitlock, and Georgia gets a defensive touchdown. They lead 14-7. Ohio State's got to respond after turning the ball over. Puma Whitlock does not usually make many mistakes, and they will not respond as they will have to punt it away after a failed screen. So Georgia's got a real opportunity to gain some momentum, but Ketchikan is sacked on 3rd and 14, wrapped up by Hannibal Rose. Both pass rushers have been really good today. Ohio State would get the ball back. They would slowly but surely march it down the field, but on 3rd and inches, they would be unable to convert as Puma Whitlock sends it in the back of the end zone. 4th and inches, Ohio State goes for it, and it works as Lee Bryant, the fullback, gains 2. And then on 2nd and goal, it's Mookie Davis with his second touchdown of the first half, and the Buckeyes tie it up at 14. Georgia gets it back. Ketchikan connects up the middle. Good throw, despite the fact that he was under a lot of pressure. And it's a huge play after the catch by Obafemi Chukwukema. A big play for Georgia, looking to take the lead back late in the first half. 3rd and 1. Ketchikan rolls out to the right, and it is caught, but out of bounds. Jair Williamson, the tight end, caught it, but he was unable to get a foot in. So that'll bring out the field goal team as Georgia looks to take the lead back. Interesting call to kick it on 4th and 1. I think that is the right call. Just give yourselves the lead. I know it's tempting to go for it, and I wouldn't blame them if they did. So now Ohio State gets it back late in the first half as Puma Whitlock goes short. Pass is caught. Nice play after the catch by Matthew Mountbatten, who gets the first down for Ohio State. Following play, Whitlock sends it downfield, and it's caught by a wide-open Auden Green for the touchdown. I don't know what Georgia was doing there. That area of the field was completely wide open, in which Whitlock and Green will take advantage of, and the Ohio State has the lead for the first time today. Georgia looking to get the lead back here late in the first half as Ketchikan goes downfield. It's caught for a score. Chukwukema with the touchdown, and Georgia leads 24-21 going into halftime. All of the quarterfinal games of the last episode were not all that exciting, so it's quite refreshing to see a thriller so far here, and we've got another half of football left to go. Georgia starts with possession. It's Miko Alexander, the true freshman, breaking tackles, and he gets a solid gain of around 16 yards. Georgia trying to lean in on the run here, as Aaron Ketchikan has not had a high volume of passes today, as he is intercepted. Napoleon Christian picks it off for the defense. One of the top linebackers in this year's draft class makes a huge turnover, and the Buckeyes have the great opportunity to respond. Here's Whitlock on third down, scrambles into trouble, gets out of it, but that just makes him go even farther backwards as he is sacked by Tykeem Rodgers, another projected high draft pick in this year's draft. Rodgers, of course, had to scoop and score earlier in the game. So that'll bring out the field goal team. 51-yard try for Derek Wilson, one of the best kickers in the country. His kick is good. And we are knotted up at 24 here in the third quarter of the college football playoff semifinals. 3rd and 2, Miko Alexander loses 3. Quickly wrapped up by Jonathan Williams, one of the big-time leaders on this Ohio State defense. The Buckeyes get it back. Whitlock is sacked on first down. It's Duke Hawkins, who has been all over the field today for the Georgia defense. He has been so impressive, just living in the backfield religiously. 3rd down, Mookie Davis loses 2, wrapped up by, guess who? Duke Hawkins. He is putting on a show for the Georgia defense, who would get it into the red zone. 3rd and 2, Miko Alexander off the toss, brings it to around the 1. Nice play by the freshman. We'll see if Georgia can punch it in here on 1st and goal late in the third quarter as they look to gain the lead back, as it's a toss to the right side. Alexander in for a touchdown. Miko Alexander has now scored in all 3 college football playoff games for Georgia. Very impressive as a true freshman, as it's now 31-24. Ohio State has it back, 3rd and 12. They go for the screen. I really don't like that play call. Davis annihilates a defender, but he does not get the first down, gaining 4. So Georgia gets it back here in the fourth quarter, really trying to give themselves some insurance as they go for the screen, and it does not work out. Miko Alexander only gains 5, so the Buckeyes get it back, looking to tie the game up here in the fourth quarter as they trail 31-24. Handoff on 2nd down for Mookie Davis with room to run. Davis down the field. Nobody's going to catch him, and the Buckeyes tie it at 31. What a run by Mookie Davis. He was able to weave his way through the defenders, and then you're not beating this kid in a foot race. Georgia gets it back with 4.5 to go as the fullback, Aaron Morrow, is stopped short of the yards marker on 3rd and 1. Ohio State gets the stop, and they'll get it back on offense, looking to take the lead. 3rd and 9. Whitlock takes a shot downfield, and it is caught inbounds by Kermit Wiltz, who gets the first down. Ohio State trying to move quickly here. They don't want to mess up because of the clock. 2nd and 3. Puma Whitlock looks downfield. It is caught! Touchdown! Buckeyes! Kermit Wiltz with the score. And Ohio State takes the lead 37-31. Pending the kick, it'll be 38-31. So now Georgia's offense has got to respond. They're down by 7. The season pretty much on the line for them. Ohio State has completely awoken here in the fourth quarter. Here's Aram Kachakan stumbling forward, and that'll be credited as a sack. I think Kachakan is trying to do too much with his legs, and while Georgia is moving it down the field, he needs to be able to trust his receivers a little bit more. These are dynamic playmakers. Here's the slot receiver, Sawyer Roberts, breaking tackles, and Roberts is pushed out of bounds inside the 25. This is why you trust your receivers. Kachakan lets Roberts make a play there after the catch. 3rd and 10, look at the clock, under 30 seconds to go. It's a screen for Miko Alexander, who gets the first down and stumbles forward to around the 10. Georgia still has a timeout in their back pocket. They're not using it, though. 1st and goal. Look at that clock, under 20 to go. Kachakan, again, trying to do too much with his legs as he is eventually sacked by Casey Bailey. Georgia will not elect to use their timeout. What are they doing? They got to call that thing right now. They're going to have time for one more play probably as they choose to spike it instead. What's the point of that? You have the timeout in your back pocket. Now there's 2 seconds left on the clock. The game and the season is on the line for the Georgia Bulldog offense. They got to get it in the end zone. Kachakan looks to throw it, and he goes short. It's caught by Miko Alexander, well shy of the end zone, and this game is over. The Ohio State Buckeyes are moving on to the national championship game as they defeat Georgia 38-31. What the hell was that ending? Georgia had a clear opportunity to run multiple plays, but instead of calling a timeout, they spike it. I don't get it. I mean, Georgia really choked that entire fourth quarter. That final sequence, I'm just so confused. Aram Kachakan, in a vacuum, played pretty well in this ball game, but the way he, along with the Georgia coaching staff, completely mismanaged that final drive, is by far the biggest takeaway with his performance, even though he was really good otherwise. Miko Alexander played well again. Some of the receivers were impressive. Chukwukema had some big catches. Sawyer Roberts was pretty good as well for the Georgia offense, along with obviously Alexander. Monty Grant was kind of quiet, as was Jair Williamson. He didn't even catch a pass. And then defensively, Duke Hawkins was a one-man wrecking crew. 6 tackles, all for a loss, 2 sacks, including a strip sack, which was picked up by Tykeem Rogers for a touchdown. The problem is the rest of the defense did not show up, especially those final 2 drives when they needed to get a stop, and they couldn't. As for Ohio State, another great performance from sophomore quarterback Puma Whitlock, who's bringing his team into the national championship game. Mookie Davis was phenomenal as well, 167 yards and 3 touchdowns. Kermit Wilt continues to be an absolute baller. Auden Green had a huge touchdown. And while Ohio State's defense was not perfect, unlike Georgia's, they made plays when they needed to. They were clutch in the fourth quarter, not allowing any points. And thus, Ohio State is moving on to the national championship here in Season 3 of the NCAA Next Up Dynasty. Their opponent will either be the Florida Gators or the Oklahoma Sooners, 2 teams who have already played against each other this year, getting a rematch. We'll start with the 12-seeded Oklahoma Sooners, the final team to grab an at-large bid into the college football playoff. And if you remember, Oklahoma was tied with Navy for the same amount of points to get in. Oklahoma won the tiebreaker, and every vote matters. Clearly, Oklahoma was 1 point away from not getting into the playoff, and now they've got a real shot at the national championship. Even though Oklahoma is the lowest seed left in the tournament, they have been the best team in the playoff so far by far. They are also the only team to have beaten Florida already, and they've got an opportunity to do it again. They have lost 3 games this year. They did lose to Georgia. They lost to Tennessee, albeit Romeo Colucci was injured. And then they lost to Alabama, but they beat Alabama in the first round of the playoff in their second meeting. And then last episode in the Sugar Bowl against Virginia Tech, they won 50-7. That game was an utter blowout. Romeo Colucci has been phenomenal through 2 playoff games, and this Oklahoma team has been there. They made it last year. They got to the quarterfinals, losing in heartbreaking fashion to Middle Tennessee State. And Oklahoma's got another opportunity here to do it again. Defensively, their pass rush has been unbelievable so far in the playoff. They had 10 sacks against Bama and 8 more against Virginia Tech. That is insane. I can't believe the number 1 seed is the underdog against the lowest seed, but I think that's what we might be looking at. However, it is no secret that the Florida Gators have been the best team in college football. They got a first-round bye. They got to play against Middle Tennessee State in the Orange Bowl in the last episode, and Florida looked very vulnerable. They won that game 14-9 thanks to multiple fourth-down stops defensively, but their offense really struggled, and defensively, they weren't all that good. They were just clutch, and they made stops when they needed to. However, again, Florida's been the best team in college football this year. Their 1 loss is against Oklahoma, and they've got an opportunity to avenge themselves. We've had a couple of rematches so far in the college football playoff, Oklahoma and Alabama, USC and Ohio State, and in both of those games, the team who lost in the regular season matchup won in the college football playoff meeting. So you think that bodes well for the Florida Gators. Florida made it to the semifinals last season. They lost to the eventual national champion TCU Horned Frogs in a very close game. The question I have with Florida is how Ernie Capellar, their senior quarterback, will do in a big game, because Capellar has not produced in big-time games. He's got plenty of weapons. The defense is great as well. They were obviously quite solid against Middle Tennessee State, only allowing 9 points. But again, Florida looked very vulnerable in that game. Their offense was far from impressive. They scored 0 points in the second half. And as we look at Oklahoma, they look unstoppable. While they are the lowest seed in the tournament, they steamrolled past a great Alabama team on the road, and then they just beat Virginia Tech by 43 points. The same Virginia Tech team who won the ACC championship against, ironically, Navy, who Oklahoma was battling with for that final college football playoff spot. The winner of this game is set for a date in the national championship against the Ohio State University. Can Florida avenge their early season loss against the Sooners on 3rd and 10? It's a screen for Suggs, breaking tackles, but Tontrick Suggs only gains around 7. Ernie Capellar was not very aggressive throwing downfield against Middle Tennessee State. I really want to see him make some big-time throws today. You know who knows how to make big-time throws? This cat, Romeo Coloci, who goes short on third down, and it is unsuccessful as Darion Seals only gains 3. That'll bring out the field goal team to strike first, and it is good. So Oklahoma is on the board. They lead 3-0. Let's see what the Florida offense can do. I want to see them be more aggressive in their play calling. I want to see Ernie Capellar produce in a big-time game. Although he's not the biggest guy, 6 foot, 200 pounds, he's a tough, physical runner, showing it on that play, but he's also very athletic and explosive. He's another guy who's got an opportunity to cement himself as a first-round pick with a good performance here in the playoffs as he gets another nice gain of around 13 yards. Ernie Capellar is running it well, but I've got to see him throw it well. 3rd and 9, Capellar with a dart to the wrong team. It's picked off by the freshman cornerback, Shakir Kale. A big turnover forced by the Oklahoma defense. That was a really risky throw. He was trying to get it to the receiver, but Kale makes a great play on the ball. Oklahoma has it back. Here's Coloci on 3rd down, connects with Eric Denman for the first down. Romeo Coloci, I don't think, has as much to prove as some of these other quarterbacks. I think he has more so cemented himself as a first-round guy, but he still wants to prove himself as a winner and a guy who can take his team to the title. Darion Seals loses 7 on that play, and it's now 3rd and long. Coloci looks to throw and under pressure, and he takes a shot. He wanted to take a shot downfield, but instead he took a shot from the defense. Mike Johnson, the sophomore linebacker, brings him down. So Florida gets it back, still 3-0. Capellar goes for a screen on 3rd down again. I don't like the play calling here from Florida. Grow a pair of balls and send that thing downfield. What's with the short passes on 3rd down? Into the second quarter, 3-0, pretty low-scoring start. As Coloci goes up the middle. What a play after the catch as well by Eric Denman, the senior receiver, breaking tackles for a nice play. Oklahoma brings it all the way to the goal line. On 1st and goal, Coloci is sacked. A big-time play by Sadiq Reed Jr. 3rd and goal now for the Sooners. Romeo Coloci looks to throw it, and it is caught for a touchdown. Noah Hampton, the Sooners' number 1 wideout, hauls it in, and it's now 10-0. Florida's got to respond. They just don't look like themselves on offense recently, as here's Todrick Suggs with a big run downfield. Gets it to the 20. Prior to that run, Todrick Suggs had 7 carries for 3 yards. Now it seems like the Florida offense can kind of wake up a little bit. They have not scored since the second quarter of their previous game. Back to Suggs on 2nd down. Makes a nice cut. He gets it inside the 5. Florida has to take advantage of this. They got to punch it in the end zone, make it a 3-point game. 1st and goal for the Gators. It's a handoff up the middle. And Todrick Suggs is in for a touchdown, and it's now 10-7. Just like the first game, it looks like we might have ourselves a dogfight between Florida and Oklahoma. 3rd and 11, Romeo Coloci goes downfield. Nice throw as it's hauled in by Noah Hampton to around the 50. Romeo Coloci was great in Oklahoma's first 2 playoff games, and he looks really good again here. Here's Darion Seals with a big run into the red zone as he is tackled at the 15. Big play by Darion Seals, the senior running back who has performed at a high level in the playoffs as well. Here's 3rd down. Coloci with a strike in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. It's Eric Denman who comes down with it. Romeo Coloci looks so calm and poised in the pocket and makes an accurate throw. That's why NFL teams like him so much. He is just so steady and reliable making plays. Ernie Capellar, on the other hand, is a little bit more erratic. He gets sacked on 3rd and 1. That'll force a punt. Oklahoma's defense is looking really solid today as they look to make it a 3-score game. 3rd and 5, it's another screen. As much as I hate screen plays, these teams keep on running them, and they rarely ever work, as the Oklahoma offense does not do anything there. So Florida's going to get it back. 2nd and 10. Here's Capellar. Takes a strike downfield. There we go, Ernie. He gets it to Chris Gentry, the number 1 receiver here on Florida. His stock has gone up throughout the college football playoff as Gentry gets it past the 50. 3rd and 10, Capellar goes short, and now he's going back to the short stuff. What are we doing here, Ernie? It's only a gain of 6 into the hands of Derico Callaway. With time winding down here in the first half, Florida figures they might as well kick, and it is no good. So that'll wrap up the first half. 17-7, Oklahoma leads. I've never been less surprised to see the lowest seed in the entire tournament leading against the highest seed by multiple possessions. But the way Oklahoma has played in the college football playoff, I mean, they look unstructable. Their offense has been a little bit inconsistent, but Romeo Colucci has been really solid. And then defensively, the Sooners have done a great job on Florida, as Ernie Capillard just does not look all that good. Romeo Colucci and the Sooners start with the ball in the second half, and they're going to get right to work. There's a nice play by Eric Denman, who has been making plays all day long, torching the opposing corner, Yambo Okpoko. Both Okpoko and Denman are projected day 2 draft picks this year. 3rd and 4, handoff up the middle. Nice run by Darion Seals, who gets it to around the 5. Oklahoma's got a chance to make it a 3-score game here. Can they do it? They're having a little trouble punching it in. They couldn't do it on 1st and goal. How about 2nd and goal? It's Darion Seals who waltzes into the end zone for a touchdown. Boomer Sooner! Oklahoma is ahead by 17. Florida's got to do something now. I know there's still a lot of time left on the clock, but their offense has just been so blech today, and they've been blech throughout the entire playoff. 3rd and 9. Capillar with a beautiful throw into the hands of his tight end, Brandon Pickens, who gets it to the 10. Good read by Capillar. He wasn't afraid to make a play. He found Pickens open down the field. Now it's 1st and goal. We'll see if Florida can punch it in and put themselves back into the ball game, as it's a handoff for Todrick Suggs, and he is in with ease. Touchdown, Florida, and it's now 24-14. So the Gators score, but they've still got some work to do. Oklahoma gets it back here late in the 3rd quarter. They lead by 10. At around midfield, Romeo, where art thou, Romeo? Sacked in the backfield for a loss of about 8. It's Lee who makes the play for the Florida defense. Oklahoma would convert a little bit shortly thereafter, and then on 1st down, Romeo Colucci gets it all the way to the 10. Colucci can move. He's got some wheels. He ran for over 1,000 yards last year. This year, he focused a little bit more on his abilities as a passer, but he is such a complete player. No wonder NFL scouts are drooling over him. Darion Seals scores once again his 2nd touchdown here in the second half, and Oklahoma is back up by 3 scores. It's now 31-14 late in the 3rd quarter. Again, Florida's got to make some noise here on offense. They've got to continue to send the pressure and make plays. 2nd and 9, there's a good play. Chris Gentry with a nice move after the catch as the Gators get the 1st down. I like Ernie Capillar trusting his big-time receivers. Chris Gentry's an NFL draft prospect. Tight end Brandon Pickens, also an NFL draft prospect. Look to get the ball to those guys. There you go. The Gators are making some noise now. Here's 2nd and goal in the 4th quarter. Capillar rolls out to the right, and he is in. Ernie Capillar cuts the lead back down to 10. Florida's offense is finally waking up today, but the problem is they've still got to get some stops. They got to get some big plays here. A turnover would be really nice. That's going to be hard to do against Romeo Colucci. Colucci goes downfield. He's intercepted. There you go. Victor Ridgewood II picks it off, and we've got ourselves a ball game. Florida forces a turnover. Got to take advantage. 3rd and 6. They only get 6 as Gentry is wrapped up shy of the yards marker by Brigham Bell. 4th and inches. I like the aggressiveness. Florida keeps the offense out on the field. They're going to go for it. They're going to get it. Todrick Suggs with room gets a solid gain with around 10. So Florida gets the 1st down, keeping the drive moving. If they score, it'll be a 1-possession game. Here's Capillar off the read option with blocks down the field. Ernie Capillar takes it in for another rushing touchdown. Look at that scoreboard. The Gators only trail by 3. 31-28. Oklahoma's got to answer back. Here's Romeo Colucci on 1st down. Takes a shot downfield. It is caught by Darion Seals, who breaks 2 tackles. The first play of the drive is the only play of the drive. 75 yards from Romeo to Seals. And Oklahoma, within a matter of seconds, is right back up by 10. Florida gets it back. 3rd down. Capillar takes a shot. What a play by Ernie Capillar. That might be the best throw I've seen him make of his entire career. He's evading pressure. He kind of lofted it up, and he was able to find an open man. 2nd and 1. Todrick Suggs gets it inside the 5. Florida is moving with energy, and they're moving quickly, which was not the case in the first half when they looked dull and out of it. There's Todrick Suggs in for the touchdown, and it's once again a 3-point game. 38-35, but Florida's got to get a stop here, and that's a pretty good start. Romeo Colucci is sacked for a loss of 7. 3rd and long now for Oklahoma. Colucci's going to look for the screen. I don't know what these teams are doing with these goddamn screens. Seals loses 3, and that means Florida will have an opportunity to tie with a field goal or take the lead with a touchdown. They looked out of this game in the 3rd quarter, and now they are back, but that is not a good start to the drive. Ernie Capellar is sacked on the play, and it's now a 3rd and 15. Capellar, his pass is caught short. Now he's going back to the short stuff. I don't get that. Only a gain of 1 by Derek O'Callaway, and it's now 4th and 14. The game and the season on the line for the number 1 seed, Florida Gators. Ernie Capellar has time, now under a little pressure, takes a shot downfield, and it is broken up, incomplete. Oklahoma is going to the national championship game as they defeat Florida in a thriller. 38-35. Jackson got a hand on it. That was a pretty good throw. I think Chris Gentry could have made a play on the ball, but Jackson was able to swat it away. Oklahoma survives by the hair of their chinny chin chins. The lowest seed in the entire tournament, Oklahoma, has defeated the top seed Florida 38-35. And I give Florida credit. Their offense was really bad last game. It was really bad in the first half. But then they woke up with 4 big touchdowns. But Oklahoma's offense was just too good throughout the entirety of the game. And that's why Florida lost. Ernie Capellar had a weird game. I think Capellar played very well in the second half, and I give him a lot of credit. But he also made a lot of mistakes. And I still feel like there was a lot left to be desired from this game, from Ernie Capellar. I will say he was only sacked twice, whereas the quarterbacks who Oklahoma has played in the playoff have been sacked on average 9 times per game, not 2. Florida gave it their all, but it was just too little too late. And defensively, while they had some nice stops in the 4th quarter, and they were clutch down the stretch, they just weren't consistent throughout the duration of the game, which ultimately costed them. As for Oklahoma, Romeo Colucci with another very good performance, 28-36, 349, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. I'm excited to see Colucci in the national championship game where he's got an opportunity to potentially cement himself as the number 1 quarterback off the board in this year's draft, maybe the number 1 pick entirely. Oklahoma's defense was dominant through the first half, and then they forgot how to play football, but they got the stop at the end, which is ultimately what matters. So we now have our national championship. The 12th-seeded Oklahoma Sooners face off against the number 6 seed Ohio State Buckeyes for the 2024-25 National Championship game. 2 traditional blue bloods, if you will. Oklahoma and Ohio State have taken 2 different paths to get here, but they both equally deserve it, and boy, am I excited for this matchup. Probably the 2 most talented teams on paper in the country. The reason why their seed it doesn't necessarily reflect that is both teams had a gauntlet of a schedule, particularly Oklahoma, the last seed in the playoff. They went through a gauntlet of an SEC, losing 3 games, but they have beaten Florida twice. They beat them in the regular season, and they get the job done again here in the college football playoff. As for Ohio State, they looked dominant in the regular season, going 11-1. They lost in the conference championship game against USC, but that might have been the best thing that's happened to this team. They have not faced off against any adversity until then, and they have responded really well. I'm really excited to see how this matchup goes. Ohio State and Oklahoma with a national championship on the line. 2 very talented teams, 2 fantastic young quarterbacks, and we are off. The Oklahoma Sooners will start off with the ball. We'll get a look at the senior, Romeo Colucci, in his final collegiate game, a projected top pick in this year's draft class. He's right up there with Duke's Justin Tucker as the top quarterback in the draft. 2nd and 11, Colucci under pressure, and he is sacked. Nice play by Wyatt Berglund, the defensive tackle, forcing a loss of around 6. Which team will be able to set the tone here today? Oklahoma, by setting the tone against Florida, won them that game despite their struggles in the second half. And there's Colucci downfield. He connects with Eric Denman for the touchdown. Oklahoma is on the board first here in the national championship game as they lead 7-0. Well, that's a start. We know Romeo Colucci's got a dynamic arm, as does the sophomore Puma Whitlock. Puma throws it away on 3rd and 6, so Oklahoma gets the stop. A pretty good start to this game for the Sooners, who continue to look like the best team through the college football playoffs so far. Colochi with an unbelievable throw under pressure. He connects with the tight end, Desmond Rock. Man, Romeo looks good so far. He looks like he wants to play himself into being the number 1 overall pick. We'll have to read option. What a stiff arm! Romeo Colochi into the end zone for a touchdown. Wow, what a run by Romeo Colochi, and it's 14-0. Oklahoma looks great out the gate here in the national title game, setting the tone just as they did against Florida. Ohio State has to make a play, and here's a play all right. Mookie Davis, his first carry of the game, goes for around 30. 2nd and 14, Whitlock is sacked in the backfield. Big defensive play by Brigham Bell, the senior linebacker. Oklahoma is a very senior-driven team on both sides of the ball. Ohio State, meanwhile, is a very young team, particularly on offense. Pretty much all of their key offensive players have eligibility next year, as goes for a lot of their key defensive players. Puma Whitlock on 3rd and long connects with Kermit Wiltz for the touchdown. And the Buckeyes are on the board as it's 14-7. Kermit Wiltz is an absolute playmaker, and he continues to deliver here in the playoff, as does, of course, Puma Whitlock. 3rd and 9, it's a screen for Darion Seals, and it actually worked. Okay, credit to Oklahoma for making the screen be successful. Their offense just looks dominant here in the first quarter. They've already scored twice, and the Sooners look like they want to score again. 3rd and 6. Here's Romeo Colochi off the play action. Sends it for the corner of the end zone. It is caught, not in the end zone, but at the 1 by Noah Hampton. 1st and goal. Can Oklahoma score their 3rd touchdown in the quarter? They will. It's Romeo Colochi hit hard after he scores. Colochi already has 3 touchdowns today. A passing touchdown and 2 on the ground. He looks like he might be the number 1 pick the way he's playing. Oh my goodness. We are witnessing something special right now with the dominant performance of Romeo Colochi. Ohio State has it back. Nice run by Mookie Davis, bouncing off a blocker. Davis brings it to the 25. A lot of offense here in the first quarter. Both teams are having no troubles moving it down the field. Now here in the second quarter, it's a 3rd and goal for the Buckeyes. Puma Whitlock rolls out to the right. He's going to scramble with it, and he is hit hard. Well shy of the end zone. A big-time hit by Brigham Bell. Ohio State kicks the field goal. It is now 21-10. Oklahoma does still feel like they're in control. They're up by 11. They're about to get the ball back. And they've got number 5 slinging it in the backfield as he connects downfield. Another big play for Oklahoma. It's Denman who takes it all the way. Eric Denman with his 2nd touchdown at the ballgame, but not so fast. It's an illegal touching on Eric Denman. He did the old 1-2 Karl Malone as he stepped out of bounds before he caught the ball. On 3rd down, instead, they get 5. So instead of the touchdown, it is a 3 and out and a punt. A massive break for Ohio State. However, Puma Whitlock is sacked on 2nd down. Buck Ratliff, the projected first-rounder, makes the play. Ratliff is a little bit raw, but he has made some plays here in the playoff. And, of course, this guy is a total freak athlete. He's going to wow you at the combine. Ohio State would punt it. Oklahoma gets it back, and they are right back to work. Jalen Chase with a nice gain of around 15. Chase is likely to have a bigger role in the offense next year, with Noah Hampton and Eric Denman both leaving for the NFL as seniors. Colochi on 3rd and 6 goes short, and it is caught by Tyshawn Bankston, who only gets 2. Good stop by the Buckeye defense, and thus it'll remain a 2-score game. Oklahoma should be able to tack on the 3 points pretty easily. This kick is from around 46, so maybe not a gimme. And it is no good. He missed it. A big miss from Oklahoma. The Sooners have been far and away the better team today, but they have shot themselves in the foot multiple times here in the second quarter with the illegal touching penalty. Now a missed easy field goal. Ohio State has to take advantage of their breaks, and they're just not doing it. Puma Whitlock sacked again. It is a 4th down. Ohio State ended up calling their timeout because with 4 seconds left, they figure they might as well just run another play. Why not just go for a Hail Mary? It's not like Oklahoma's going to be able to get the ball back with any time. But instead, Puma is hit again, and it looked like he got rid of the ball, but still, Puma Whitlock had no time to throw it on that drive. That'll wrap up the first half. The lowest seed in the entire tournament, the Oklahoma Sooners right now look like the team of destiny. They're 1/2 away from winning the College Football Playoff National Championship, but it is not over. Ohio State has the ball, and they're getting right to work. It's Kermit Wiltz who gets it to the 1. Big-time throw by Puma Whitlock, who's got to play the best half of football in his career. After a holding call, it's a pitch to the left side for Ramir Conwell, and he is in for a score. I know Oklahoma has been far and away the better team, but look at that score. It's a 4-point ball game. It's just a matter of Ohio State being consistent, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. On 1st and 15, it's Deacon Adderley with the pass. Romeo Colucci got a little bit dinged up. He'll be fine. Don't worry about it. He'll be back in the next drive. However, Deacon Adderley would not be able to do anything after that, and thus Oklahoma will only be able to tack on a field goal. This time they actually make the kick, and they lead 24-17. It still is a one-score game, however. A touchdown for Ohio State could tie it. They would march all the way down the field. 3rd and 4, Puma Whitlock scrambles. He's trying to stumble forward, but he loses a yard, wrapped up by big Paul Brown, and thus Oklahoma will keep their lead as Ohio State tacks on 3, and it is 24-20. We've really got ourselves a ball game. The Buckeyes are making this a lot more competitive here in the second half, but it does still feel like Oklahoma is in control, in the driver's seat. Colucci on 2nd down is sacked, only for a loss of 2, but still a nice sack, nonetheless, by Cassius Gobo, the All-American safety. Ohio State would get it back with good field position as they look to capitalize. It's the tight end, Trey Miller, takes it into the end zone, and the Ohio State Buckeyes have the lead for the first time today, 27-24. On 2nd and 4, it's intercepted. It's picked off by the defense, and they will bring it inside the 20. Brian Thibodeau picks it off. All of the momentum right now belongs to Ohio State. They are making all the plays here in the second half. Here's Puma Whitlock. Connects in the end zone for a touchdown to the senior Trey Miller. It was just a 2-possession Oklahoma lead about 3 minutes ago. And now Ohio State leads by 2 possessions. What the hell is happening? Into the 4th quarter, Oklahoma's control and momentum has very quickly evaporated. On 4th and 12, they have to go for it, and it is incomplete. The Ohio State defense gets the stop. They will get it back on offense. Puma Whitlock on 1st down, connects with Kermit Wiltz, breaks the tackle from Drame, and he is in for a touchdown. What on earth is happening? Ohio State is up by 3 possessions. It's just like this game magically flipped with a snap of the fingers. And Oklahoma's in a lot of trouble, trailing 41-24, and it's not going to get any better here as Colucci is sacked by Casey Bailey. 3rd and 15. Colucci takes a shot downfield. It is caught. Okay. Oklahoma did fumble it, but Denman fumbled it out of bounds, so it doesn't really matter. That was Brian Thibodeau who forced it out. Thibodeau's had an interception in both games today, really making plays for the Ohio State defense. Colucci on 1st down is sacked again. This time, it's James Butler who brings him down for a loss of about 6. Another 4th down. Oklahoma's got to go for it, and they will get it. Good throw by Romeo Colucci in the hands of Seth Dortch, who gets the 1st down for the Sooners. This clock is ticking, however, and Oklahoma's obviously got a lot of catching up to do, considering they're down by, 3 possessions. On 4th down, they're going to go for it again, and they get it once again, as Romeo Colucci keeps it himself, and he gets around 4 or 5. Oklahoma would then get another 4th down. This time it's 4th and 8 from around the 9. Colucci under pressure, goes short, and that is caught for a touchdown by Tyshawn Bankston. 3 separate 4th down conversions on that drive by the Oklahoma Sooners. They still trail by 10, however, and they would not be able to recover the onside kick. So Ohio State's probably going to try to choose some clock, really look to put a dagger on this ball game, starting already past the 50 as it's a handoff to Mookie Davis. Cuts to the right side, and Davis is gone! Touchdown, Buckeyes! Ohio State is back ahead by 3 possessions with just minutes left to go on the clock, and that might be the clincher. Oklahoma's not going to quit, though. Colucci takes a shot downfield. What a catch by Eric Denman for a gain of nearly 40. Oklahoma's trying to go as fast as they can, hoping for a miracle. They saw how Ohio State flipped this game within a matter of minutes, and they're hoping to do the same. Colochi with a strike, and it is caught by Noah Hampton for the touchdown, and it is once again a 10-point game. Oklahoma would once again not recover the onside kick. Ohio State gets it back. First play at the drive. Here's Mookie Davis, cut to the right side, and he is gone again. And with that, I think it's pretty fair to say the Ohio State Buckeyes are going to win this game, and they are going to win the national championship. Mookie Davis with two 40-plus yard touchdowns here as the icing on the cake. Ohio State has scored 45 points in just the second half. This is the same Oklahoma defense who allowed 7 points against Virginia Tech. Colochi trying to just get anything going, but with the clock at 0, this game is over. The Ohio State Buckeyes are the national champions as they defeat Oklahoma 55-38 in a roller coaster of a ball game. But congratulations to the Buckeyes. They have won the national championship here in Season 3 of the NCAA Next Up Dynasty in probably the most exciting national championship game we've had yet. More so because the first 2 national championship games were not all that good. Oklahoma started this game in control. They were up 21-7 after the first quarter, 21-10 at halftime, and then it's like a flip switched. Ohio State scored 45 points in the second half, for Christ's sake. Both teams had no problem moving the ball down the field with over 1,100 total yards of offense. Puma Whitlock, the college football playoff MVP, goes 21 of 26, 313, and 4 touchdowns. This kid's a gamer. He's a baller. He's a stud. And he's got 2 more years of eligibility. He could declare for the draft and be probably a top 10 pick, but he could also come back to Ohio State and try to build a dynasty. Mookie Davis had 2 big plays late. He also could hypothetically come back. Really, everybody on this offense, other than Trey Miller, who had 109 yards and 2 touchdowns, everybody else can come back. Everybody else has eligibility. The defense is very young as well. A lot of their core players are not seniors. Now, they have more senior starters on defense than offense, but still, this is one of the youngest teams in the country. They've got a real opportunity to run it back. As for Oklahoma, it really looked like they could have been the team of destiny. They were incredible in the first half, but they just let it slip away from them quickly. Not at the fault of Romeo Colochi, however. He was fantastic today. 43 of 58, 493, 3 touchdowns and a pick. This is not like Cade Hutchinson from last year where he's great all year and sucks in the Natty. Colochi was awesome in this game. He has really cemented his stock here in the college football playoff as a top 5 lock. Some NFL team is going to be very lucky having this young man leading their franchise. Oklahoma's offense was really good. They scored 38 points, but their defense in the second half let them down. Oklahoma's defense has been great this year. In the playoff, they were phenomenal. In the first half of this game, they were phenomenal, but they allowed 45 points in the second half. Oklahoma's offense was not free of mistake in the second half, but I think this loss goes on the defense, a very talented group with multiple future first-round picks. They just got outplayed. So with that, Ohio State has won the national championship. I've been saying all year, this is the team to beat. I said it in the preseason episode. They were my pick to win it all. Let's roll back the tape. I think Ohio State is the team to beat. They are my preseason pick to win the national championship under the condition that Puma Whitlock is good. Newsflash, Puma Whitlock is pretty damn good. So we get through another season of the NCAA Next Up Dynasty. Ohio State beats Oklahoma in the college football playoff for the national championship. The next episode will be the off-season. Normally it takes a little bit of time to get that up, but I'm going to try to get the rosters done pretty quickly because it'll be a little bit until we get to Season 4. Obviously, with MLB The Show coming out this Friday, that's going to be where a lot of my focus is. So Season 4 is not going to start for a few weeks, but I do really want to get the off-season out this week. I don't know if I will, but I'm going to try. That'll wrap up the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed a really fun episode today. All 3 games are very exciting. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.